Hey, what's up, guys? It's Renaldo here. So, this video is just going to delve a little bit deeper into Julius Malema being found guilty of hate speech by the Equality Court. And it's also going to just break down specifically what the judge had to say. And trust me, it's very damning. Added to that, of course, is a question that a lot of people aren't asking. Actually, I haven't actually heard anybody ask this question, but I will leave that for the end of the video. What I want to focus on now is what the judge specifically had to say with regards to his ruling on Julius Malema. In his ruling on Wednesday, Judge Mark Scher found Malema had demonstrated a clear intention to incite harm and to promote or propagate hatred. Scher said the EFF leader's statements in the speech were hate speech, contrary to the provisions of the Equality Act. He added that while calling out someone who behaved as a racist might be acceptable, calling for them to be killed was not. He also continued to say, and calling for someone to be killed because they are a racist who has acted violently is an act of vigilantism and an incitement of the most extreme form of harm possible, Scher said in the ruling. It is not acceptable in our society, which, in terms of the noble aims set out in the Equality Act, is trying to heal from a racially oppressive and violent past and to encourage and foster reconciliation, social cohesion, and goodwill amongst all races. He added, when such a call emanates from the leader of the then third, now fourth largest political party in the country, it has the potential to foment racial violence on a large scale. Scher said there were several lawful options and remedies available in law to deal with racists, including the remedies and procedures provided for in the Equality Act and, if warranted, criminal law. He added Malema's comments constituted an exhortation to kill white males who had participated in the incident of 9 November 2020 at Brackenfell High School and to kill or respond violently to any other persons who engaged in racist behavior towards members of the second responded, EFF, in the future. Scher said Malema and the EFF should be held jointly liable as the party endorsed and supported these statements in the media advisory which is issued to these proceedings. They were both ordered to pay the costs. Now, the EFF said it would appeal the judgment in the Supreme Court of Appeal. Not really a big surprise there because the EFF truly believe that they cannot be racist. Never ever can they be racist. And their commander in chief is pretty much the second coming of Jesus. That is in essence what the EFF believes. Now, that is a very damning judgment against Julius Malema. And finally, a judge had the courage to just come out and say what has been so obvious for so many South Africans for well over 2 decades almost. And ultimately, what we have here is a damning condemnation of what Julius Malema has been doing for close to 2 decades. So ultimately, finally, we have some positive things to look at in this country. And of course, on top of that is the fact that the EFF was found jointly responsible, a political party being condemned for hate speech. That is setting a new precedent. Now, the EFF has said that they will appeal this judgment, but I don't see how you can get out of that. I mean, he literally asked for people to be killed. That is hate speech, pure and simple. But here's the thing. Now that he's been found guilty and we know that he's appealing it, the question is, what's going to happen in Parliament? Because remember, every single time somebody has been accused of racism, and immediately after, if they're in Parliament, then they ask, why is Parliament not firing them? Why aren't they taking action? Now, with myself, the incident happened before I was a member of Parliament. With Gayton McKenzie, the situation is the same. It was also before he became a member of Parliament. Julius Malema has been a member of Parliament, I believe, for 3 terms. 2 terms, maybe this is his third term. I'm not entirely sure, but this happened whilst he was a member of Parliament. Therefore, firstly, he breached his oath where he said that he will uphold the laws of the land and the Constitution. Clearly, he has not done so because he was found guilty in the Equality Court for breaching the Constitution and committing hate speech. So his oath has been violated. Secondly, the code of conduct for parliamentarians has also been breached because he's committed hate speech. So the question is, now Parliament can take action. Will they? Will the DA or another political party take action and request that Julius Malema goes in front of this ethics committee or whatever the committee is called in Parliament? And then secondly, whether they can find him guilty of breaching his oath of office and his oath to this country and his oath to the Constitution. That is the ultimate question that we have to ask. Now, of course, we'll have to wait longer because he's appealing this. But ultimately, we all know that Julius Malema has never been fit to be a member of Parliament. Never ever has he been fit to hold that position. But because of the fact that this country is so divided along racial lines, that he's managed to hold that position, because ultimately people will allow his racism and call out other people's racism, which once again clearly demonstrates the double standards that exist in this country. So the appeal is taking place, and hopefully it will be dealt with soon. And then ultimately we will just have to ask ourselves whether somebody is going to ask for Parliament to step in and to take action against him, not only for breaking his oath to this Constitution and to Parliament and to the people of South Africa, but also the code of conduct for parliamentarians, the ethics code, if you will. So it's going to be interesting to see because unlike Gayton McKenzie and myself, this is a perfect example of him breaking the code of conduct and code of ethics and also his oath to this country and protecting the Constitution and the rule of law. So let's see what happens, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I have to say one thing though. Well done to the South African Human Rights Commission for taking on this case. Yes, I'm pretty sure that getting hundreds of complaints against Julius Malema made that decision easier, but you have to give credit when credit is due. And the South African Human Rights Commission did the right thing in taking Julius Malema to the Equality Court. And for that, I will tip my hat to them. Well done on that. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Please let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think that he will be successful in his appeal? And then added to that, do you also think that he has breached the code of conduct, code of ethics, and also his oath as a parliamentarian? Let me know in the comments below. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash that like button. Please be sure to subscribe. Please be sure to share this video far and wide. And lastly, if you enjoy my content, please consider becoming a member. You can do so by clicking the join button below. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Till later, cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.